But I could go by that if you want.
Way too many problems.
No problems.
All right, so with that, Ms. Q, Ashley Paddock.
Okay.
Okay, with that, Ms. Q out of the way now, we'll go ahead with roll call.
Ashley Paddock.
I'm here.
Matt Reynolds.
Here.
John Lassley.
Here.
Kevin Krulik.
Here.
Keith Campbell.
Here.
Gordon Perry.
Here.
Brian Tandy.
Here.
Jane Taylor.
Here.
And Lori Gross.
Here.
Great. All right, next item is the approval of the May and June minutes. In the meeting, we had corrections on the minutes for May that were reproduced, and the minutes from last month's meeting. All had time to look at them, and any comments or remarks?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes for May and June.
I'll second them.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right. There is no, according to the agenda, there is no old business, so we will move straight into new business. Docket number 18-28, consideration for initial zoning classification for a voluntary annexation. Consists of 33 parcels totaling approximately 12.66 acres. The parcels to be annexed are known as the Elmwood subdivision, located at west of Elm Swamp Road on both sides of Elmwood Drive. With that, Derek, you would carry us through the rest of it. Good evening.
I can do that. Thanks for the introduction to the application here, Gordon. You covered it pretty well on exactly what area is on the table tonight for a zoning recommendation from the Plan Commission. The Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, Section 1.8, calls for this body to designate a zoning classification to the council before they hear the petition. So as we started to look at this property, obviously it's residential, it's surrounded by residential. It makes sense for it to be zoned somewhere in the residential zoning classification. This property, if they could throw this up on the screen for me, is directly adjacent to Chadwick Village and Ulen at Goffside. And the community of Ulen is directly south. The golf course obviously is to the west.
1 second, Derek, we're having a technical.
Oh, let's see. Should be good to go. Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll get the picture up there for everybody at home to see here momentarily. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. The City of Lebanon Comprehensive Plan did not contemplate a land use for this neighborhood. So as an alternative, the potential appropriate zoning district was reviewed based on adjacent properties, as I mentioned, currently in the city's jurisdiction. To the north and east of this neighborhood, the zoning classification varies from single family 1, SF1, to single family 2, SF2, and a PUD, planned unit development. The lot and home sizes in Elmwood subdivision are consistent with these neighboring properties. And after reviewing the configuration of lots and homes in the neighborhood compared to the minimum requirements of the residential zoning districts within the UDO, it became apparent that single-family 2, SF2, zoning classification would be most appropriate. This would eliminate a lot of, or minimize the creation of a lot of non-conforming lots or structures. So it fits pretty well into the SF2 designation. So the City of Lebanon Planning Staff recommends that the Plan Commission recommend the single-family residential SF2 zoning classification to the Common Council for the proposed annexed territory. And that is what we are here to do tonight. We are still working out some of the details of exactly how things get handled with right-of-way and responsibilities for maintenance and so forth and so on. That is why this won't be going into the council until August 13th. So we are working on that now and are pretty close to having everything ironed out, but it just gives us a little bit of extra time to make sure that we have all the T's crossed and I's dotted.
Can we put the map back up on the screen? Thank you. Questions for Derek?
Based on the map, the annexation would include the creek as well as the bridge going over the creek,
Correct.
both sides of the creek?
Not on the south side of the creek.
Okay.
Like to speak? If might want to speak?
Some of the applicants are here tonight if they'd like an opportunity or if you have questions for them.
Yeah, can you explain again for me, Derek, the difference between the two, single-family 1 and single-family 2, lot size and conformity?
You know, I don't have this specific language in front of me right now, but single-family 1 lot size would be bigger than a single-family 2 lot size. Single-family 3 is our smallest lot. There are square footage requirements, and certainly most of the lots are bigger than SF3, but the majority of them aren't as big as what would be required in the SF1 zoning district. So that's why we shoved them into the SF2, because of the square footage of the actual parcel itself.
And access to these lots and such
Is from the south through Ulen.
through you?
Some of them do have drives, like a dual drive scenario, where they do have a drive that accesses Elm Swamp Road to the east.
Is there any anticipation about that access through Ulen to get here?
As far as it being shut off or compromised?
No, isn't, I don't know what the correct terminology is. Is Ulen, is that private? Is that their thoroughfare, their responsibility?
Ulen is an incorporated town. Those are public streets.
Public streets?
Just
Yes.
like, driving through the streets of Jamestown or Advance in the county.
Okay.
It just happens to be surrounded by the city of Lebanon, but that is a town organized under Indiana code.
So that doesn't pose any problem with emergency vehicles or
No.
access?
Because they're public streets, and I would also say that Ulen does contract with the city of Lebanon for police and fire service for their town. They do not contract with us for street maintenance, although if the council should choose to accept this annexation and take over the maintenance of the streets in Elmwood, that's been the discussion, that we would approach the town of Ulen and see if they would be interested in entertaining a proposal from the city of Lebanon to maintain, at least do snow removal on their streets.
Okay, that's where I was going to go. Okay.
If they're
But
not
that's a
interested.
That's a forthcoming conversation.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's really separate than the question tonight of what would be the appropriate zoning classification. And Derek's exactly right. That's why we've delayed the council hearing till August, so that we can make all those determinations.
Okay.
Eric,
Yes.
do we know where the line is that separates Ulen and Elmwood? I mean, an exact, is it?
Yeah,
is it
we
before
have
the bridge, is it after the bridge, is it in the middle of the bridge?
Yeah, that's a good question, John. We do have the original plat, so we have all that information. The bridge, my understanding, all of the bridge is a part of Elmwood.
Okay. Other questions for Derek from the commission?
And I would like to add, I guess, roughly the annual taxes is around $24,000 when they annex into the community, if they annex into the community, collected.
That's what the city will collect?
Yes.
What was this before? Was it part of Ulen, or did it go to the county?
County.
I should note that the county did not view the road inside Elmwood as a public street. Some debate over that. I've had a chance to review the original plat for the Elmwood subdivision. It makes reference of dedicating a public right-of-way, but I believe the county's position is that there was never an acceptance of that public right-of-way. So they don't feel as though it was a public street to date. Again, debatable. I'm not an attorney. We'll let those people argue those issues, but currently Elmwood has maintained their own street and that bridge, I believe, for the life of the neighborhood. Okay.
Derek, another question as far as fire and ambulance and so forth. I mean, that road going down through there is so narrow. You know, is this something that they're going to be willing to, you know, if the city comes back and says, you know, we need to widen this street, is that something that the homeowners are going to accept and are going to be okay with?
Yeah, I mean, that's some of the details we're still, you know, kind of working through exactly, you know, what that right-of-way dedication is going to look like. You know, the first responders are able to, you know, navigate that now, but you're right. I mean, if there was a car parked off the side of the road or something like that, I mean, it would maybe have to go through somebody's front yard to get around it. It's narrow. Kevin, did you have a chance to go out today and measure the existing width? Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to. I will, though.
It's not very wide.
No, it's not. You know, but that's, again, some of the details that we're still working out and why we delayed taking it to the council for a meeting.
Say, do we know that a fire truck can even go around the circle down there?
Uh,
Can it?
We serve.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah,
I don't believe they can.
yeah. That'll all be something we have to consider in moving forward with the council.
But the city of Lebanon currently, through the contract, Kevin, we currently provide those services to them. So we're figuring out how to navigate larger vehicles, fire trucks and that type of thing through the existing infrastructure there.
And certainly the public safety folks, police and fire, are notified of this pending petition, and you know, I assume we'll be giving input to the city council when they make that decision.
Okay. All right. Other questions from the commission for Derek?
Yeah, it may not be important, but that most northeastern lot, is that an alleyway, so to speak, or is that their driveway? They own all that?
That's their driveway.
Okay.
Okay, barring any other questions for Derek, the applicant would like to step forward and further expand on what their ideas about the annexation.
Good evening.
Hi.
Bob Vickery, I'm the HOA president of Elmwood.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
What would you like to ask? As already been pointed out, we're still kind of dotting I's and crossing T's and getting some of the logistics worked out. I know our homeowners are interested in looking at annexation into the city. There are some concerns and some questions we have, which a couple of them have been raised already tonight. But as we look down the road, it is something that collectively as homeowners we've said 100% that we're interested in pursuing, assuming that some of the, I guess the details get worked out and those type of things. So that's kind of, we're more of a, I know when I sit down and originally talked to Ben, we wanted to discuss some of the different things and look at the long-term relationship between the city and Elmwood and our responsibility versus the city's responsibility. And so that's kind of where we're at right now.
Okay. Derek, I guess the other, or questions for the applicant? I do have one other question then while the HOA president is here. The zoning change to SF2, that, I mean, we can make that, but that still leaves them, it still leaves the city and Elmwood the opportunity to say we can't work out the details, or it's not a commitment that this is going to roll forward. This is they need, this zoning request is needed, or variance is needed to move this along, correct?
Yeah, that's simply it. Tonight, we're not here to necessarily talk about the details of what the annexation looked like. Your responsibility, your role here tonight is to pass on a recommendation to the council for a zoning classification, and that's the recommended zoning classification of SF2. So it could certainly, fall apart before it even gets to the council, and then the petition goes
Not that
away.
we want that, I'm just
No,
saying.
no, no, yeah, I know. Well, we'll work through the details. I think we're all working towards the same goal here, but just need to wrap up those last few little details.
Okay, good. We appreciate it. It was just part of the process here with the commission. All right. This is a public hearing, so if there are anyone wishes to speak about this docket item, feel free to step forward. If you do so, we need to put a sign-up sheet there for you. So if anyone wishes to step forward, don't everybody rush at one time. Okay, so barring that, seeing that no one's coming forward, I'll close the public hearing session and ask again if there are any final questions for Ben or the applicant. All right, so barring any questions, we're looking for a motion for this variance.
I'll motion that we recommend the single-family residential SF2 classification to the Common Council for the proposed annex properties.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Kelly, will you take the roll?
Ashley?
Yes.
Matt Reynolds?
Yes.
JohnLassley?
Yes.
Kevin Krulik?
Yes.
Keith Campbell?
Yes.
Gordon Perry?
Yes.
Brian Tandy?
Yes.
Jane Taylor?
Yes.
Lori Groves?
Yes.
Great. Docket item passes. Congratulations. We hope this helps with the upcoming conversations. Other business that's not on the agenda? None. Well, then I guess we would be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much for your time this evening. We'll see you at the August meeting. Have a good evening.